Hello there, YouTube. This is one of the amazing atheists. I guess I'm the Luigi one. So, I'm going to be making a video response here to the amazing libertarian on his video about the Big Bang. I think it was something about the Big Bang. I don't really remember exactly. And you basically threw out at least 3 of the 4 big ideas, concepts, arguments for why people believe that God exists. And I left a lot of comments in there, and I think they all pretty much speak for themselves, but I'm still going to make a video response like I said I would. One of your biggest ones seemed to be the metaphysical argument, from Kalam, or cosmological argument, whatever way you want to put it. The argument that something needed to create the universe. And I think ultimately, the problem here is, and you can see this too, that you're not satisfied with "I don't know." And that's kind of the big difference here. I mean, I can argue, I can debate metaphysics. I don't think they matter that much, but I can argue against cosmological arguments. But at the end of the day, I don't think we're any closer to really understanding whether or not God was able to create the universe. I think no matter which route you go down, you run into paradoxes that are almost equivalent. You end up using circular reason one way or another. I remember Cepheus Redeemed put out the idea that there are virtuous circles and violent circles. I don't really know. Not sure about that. But either way, I still feel like you run into paradoxes and fallacies no matter which way you go about it. It doesn't make any sense how we came to be, how our universe came to be. And to propose God seems to be, to some degree, God of the gaps. You can, the only way you really can argue is he's just necessary. We just need him. I don't agree with that, but I guess I need the evidence. I guess I'm too much of an empiricist to ever be convinced by metaphysical arguments. Kinda similar to the historical arguments for Jesus. It's just, there's no way you will ever convince me of history. But I can demonstrate that much better than demonstrating metaphysics. So I feel like I could argue back and forth, and I pretty much put my whole layout there. I might do an individual video on a Kalam argument, but I just don't think there is a good answer. I don't think you really can answer. The best I can do is counter your argument and say that we come to the same conclusion with or without God. Unfortunately, we are still in the infinite regression, or we run into the same absurdities, so I'm really agnostic when it comes to that area, and I think everyone really should be, unless there really is some hard evidence, and people can't seem to differentiate the hard evidence from not really much of evidence at all. So then you propose the teleological argument for God, that because the universe appears designed, or these things are so complex, how could nature possibly been able to do it on its own? Really, it's all God of the gaps fallacy. I mean, whatever you can propose that I can't explain to you doesn't mean it's God. It's just God because we don't know it. That's God of the gaps. God is hiding in the gaps of our knowledge. It's just bad arguing. It's essentially arguing from ignorance. Until you have the exact evidence that this actually is from a creator, we're really at a loss. We're both, it's possible, and I can see this, that there could be an invisible force that is God, that is controlling all of evolution, every particle on the planet, everything. But the likelihood of that is so low, and without evidence, I'm going to rule it out. And I say that's pretty much where philosophical materialism comes in. But scientific mythology does not necessarily rule out the supernatural. It's just completely agnostic, because it cannot address it. So you're valid in the realm of science, but when it comes to the realm of naturalism and materialism, which you may or may not agree with, it fails. It just fails. Then you went on to talk about the tag argument, and I linked you to videos because I already don't like metaphysics, and the tag argument is just out there. The laws of logic, I don't know if they were created. I don't think they were created, because if they were created, then that means they at some point didn't have a cause, because causation is derived from laws of logic, as far as I know. Some people have claimed it's not. I don't understand it. But for people to claim that laws of logic were created kind of confuses me, because they use causation before we have causation. I think it's more likely that the laws of logic just sort of are. And I hate that reasoning, but then again, I can't argue it. I'm completely ignorant how we got them. I just think that they are unexplainable and they just are there. It's just the laws of nature just all followed it. I don't know why. No one knows why. No human knows why. No human can even try and explain it. Well, they can try, but I think they fail on some level, somewhere, every time. And if they don't fail, I think they're just giving false answers they can't really back up. And for me, I kind of look at Socrates and say, I kind of like how Socrates went about his methodology. He basically asked questions to philosophers and, questioned them till they admitted that they were giving false answers, or he demonstrated they were giving false answers and said, I am wiser simply because I claim ignorance. And that's kind of how I feel. I'm not proposing anything as an atheist. I am, in a sense, rejecting, countering, lacking that belief in God. And that's really all atheism is. That's why I argue it. For the same reason Socrates went up to the false soothsayers and tried to argue against them. He got him killed. I'm not worried about getting killed. But that's why I do it, and that's why I'm willing to argue it. That's what it really comes down to. I think it was a really well put together video. I mean, you don't seem to really be, you haven't really seen a lot of videos. You haven't really gone out there. You're pretty new to YouTube as far as I can tell, and I think that was a pretty interesting video. Hopefully you'll get some good responses and you'll think about it and debate it further. I hope you keep making videos, and I'll keep making video responses back. I think you are pretty intelligent, and yeah, I hope I see more videos by you. I'm sure we agree on politics, so maybe we should stick to politics. Alright. Yeah, see ya.